prod, tickler, stirrup, tiller. There's a whole range of new words to learn when you're making a crossbow. Anyway, back to my crossbow. These are the main parts of the crossbow. The tickler, the trigger of the crossbow. Very crude yet. Hopefully I can refine it down and make it work. This is the stirrup. This fits on the end of the tiller, which is the stock, through which you put your foot as the bow is drawn or spanned. It resists the pulling force of the bowstring. This is the tiller. It's made of beech, just still a crude block of wood. Much more work needed. And finally, for today, this is the bow, the prod, and it's made from elm. Again, just a simple blank. And that's what I'm working on today. So I'd like to be able to draw this crossbow prod entirely by hand, which means for a crossbow this will be a fairly low draw weight. But compared to a longbow it will seem enormous, maybe 100 to 150 pounds, to end up with a fairly low power crossbow. For the dimensions, I've got no idea, so I'm going to have to feel my way along this wood and try to get it to bend and get a reasonably high draw weight, but one that I can pull by hand. Whilst the worst of this snow passes over, I just want to mention the trigger mechanism that I intend to use on my new crossbow. This is the only other crossbow I've ever made, and that triggered the string by this, a push pin. The simplest and as far as I know, the oldest mechanism known to release a crossbow string. But my new one will use something called a roll nut. The roll nut is set inside a socket cut into the top of the tiller. It's made of bone or metal. This flat edge of the nut holds the string when it's drawn back and cocked. The lever at the bottom, when it's released, moves downwards, and the roll nut flicks forward, releasing the string. Now I'm sure you can see, as I can see, that this bow prod has a curve on one limb, away from the tiller. And this is causing my eye great difficulties. I could thin this limb down until it bends the same as the other limb, but in so doing I'll make this limb much weaker than this one. I think my only course of action now is to put some heat just here and try to straighten that limb out. Well, that seems to have worked. Now, each limb has a very slight curve away from the tiller, and they're broadly equal. The weather's deteriorated so much that I've decided to retreat inside the shed and use this little tillering tree to finish off this crossbow prod. Almost there. About 8 inches draw at the moment, and just a few more inches to go to give me about a 10-inch draw. I estimate the weight is around about 80 pounds at this draw length. A little less than I wanted, but that's okay. "10 inches draw. I think I'll stop there."